20th, 2023. And the invocation is going to be given by me, and the Pledge of Allegiance given by our assessor, Rodney Bennett. And we'll go to that point. Our dear kind Heavenly Father, as we come before Thee today on this commission day, we appreciate the sunshine and we appreciate the rain. We appreciate all the things that are happening throughout our county, and help us that we might be able to reach out to those people that we know that are having a tough time at this time, especially those people in our county family that are really struggling. Please continue to bless us with the rain we need and for the sun that we need to get our crops in. We also have a special blessing upon those people that keep us free, for our sheriff's department, and then for all the other people that have that duty thrown upon them throughout our nation and throughout the world, that we may be able to continue to find peace therein. Heavenly Father, bless us that we'll continue to make proper and correct choices in all we do. Bless us, our families, as we're away from them, that no harm or accident befall them, and that we'll be able to have a good day. We ask these favors and blessings in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please stand and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, looks like, have you guys had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yep, I make a motion to adopt the minutes from September 13th.
Second.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anything, we got some administrative review reports and former agenda items.
Former agenda item.
Yep.
Okay, we have the policy and procedure we talked about for Box Elder County Facilities Management Department. It's been, we made some changes to it to make sure that the budget for those purchases and projects within Box Elder County resides within that division. The administration or the supervision of the new employee for those northern Box Elder County facilities would be operated under our road shed, along with the payment of that employee would be there under the road shed, under the direction of Darren out there. So with that changes, I would make a motion that we adopt this new policy as amended. That
Okay,
been
what's the
presented
number
to
on the
us.
policy? Can we remember?
It's Box Elder County Facilities Management Department Policy and Procedure.
Okay, didn't have a number on it? Okay.
Do not believe it had a number, no.
So I've got concerns about that, and the reason I do is I think we ought to be making things simpler, and it seems like to me this is making it more complicated and harder to understand and follow. And in my experience, that's a real challenge as far as employees understanding what their assignments are and who they're responding to. So yeah, I'm not going to second that.
Okay, I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Perry and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye. And a abstain or nay from
nay.
Commissioner Bingham. Okay. I don't think there's anything else on the former agenda items, reports, reviews. You got anything, Commissioner? So we're done with that one. Okay. Emergency management issues. Now we can't see Kevin at all. You're gonna have to sit in the front row, dude.
Booster seat,
Either that or get a booster seat.
nothing on our side.
Okay. Anything else? How's the flooding out west? Darren, we got everything taken care of, or?
We're getting there.
Okay. We had a couple phone calls yesterday. So apparently the normal people are having problems too?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's one thing about, I don't think anybody understands that, when we go to fix something 3 hours away and we get back home and then it floods out again, it still takes us 3 hours to go back out and try to fix it again. So tell the guys we appreciate them staying out there and doing as much work as they do in that area. So I don't think a lot of people understand how big, 5,700 square miles county is. So they do a great job keeping everybody coming and going that far out. So tell them thanks.
Thank you.
Charlene, are you going to talk about LATCF and stuff in budget stuff, or are we?
No, we'll do that in our budget hearing.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay, Commissioner Perry, it's up to you.
Okay, I'm going to pull this up real quick, and then we'll have these gentlemen come up here in just a second. I just want to read our Employee of the Month, and again, it's going really well. We've had numerous recommendations for the Employee of the Month, and we continue to try and recognize these employees as often as possible. So we want to get to them. This one is pretty pertinent because we just got done with the county fair, and this one came in. So I wanted to read this recommendation for these employees and we have 3 of them that we're going to recognize today because of the efforts they did here. And it was above and beyond. So the recommendation said at the 2023 Box Elder County Fair on Saturday, they had a commercial vendor that had a sack of jewelry that inadvertently got thrown out as garbage at the fair. It was put in a garbage can. The J-Dogs, who are the folks that were helping us clean up and collect all our garbage, picked it up, put it in the dumpster to be taken to the landfill. Our director of the fair, Jan Rhodes, was notified about the horrible mistake. She called J-Dogs and explained the location of the trash can, and that it was probably that the jewelry had been put into probably, and asked them if they had an idea which dumpster, that there's 4 of them out there, which one it could possibly be in. At that point, the fairgrounds contacted these gentlemen from at the landfill, and that had been picking up the dumpster, and asked them if they had picked up this particular dumpster. And it asked them if they could just put it aside at the landfill, and the vendor would respond to the landfill and come check and see if they could find their lost sack of jewelry. They agreed, they put the dumpster aside, and then it said after the fair vendor went to the landfill and was going to see if by some miracle they might be able to retrieve what they had lost, these 3 individuals at the landfill went above and beyond and to help her out. One of them even brought in a metal detector to maybe help her out, and miracle of miracles, the sack was located fairly soon as they started to go through the dumpster. It was truly looking for a needle in a haystack situation. They didn't just leave her to fend for herself, to dig through all the garbage, but tried to help her the best they could. It's not often that we find people to help others, and especially at the landfill, these folks stepped up. I think Box Elder County needs to be proud of these employees, which we are, and I know I'm glad to know each of these individuals. It says they went above and beyond to help someone, and also we were so appreciative for their help again this year at the fair to collect the garbage and get it out to the landfill on a daily basis, multiple times, and to take care of all the trash that gets collected at the fair. So with that nomination came from our director of our fair, Jan Rhodes. She's nominated Travis Lim, Kellen Cook, and Jess Hess for the Employee of the Month, and we'd like to recognize them if they'd please come forward. Come on, right up front here. We get you right up front here. All the way to the back? Yep. Okay.
If you don't understand, you just have a picture.
Get over here, get a picture too. Come on, Jeff. Get a picture.
This might not be an award.
All of us?
Yep, all 3 of you.
We might have to scrunch.
Anybody who's willing to dig through garbage to help somebody find their jewelry deserves to be at the front and center here. So.
It was girls.
Who got the metal detector?
I did.
Awesome.
I'm alive.
Did the metal detector help?
No, there's a lot of aluminum pans in there.
a lot of metal stuff away.
All it did is just beep.
Well, we appreciate all you guys did. Like I said, that was going above and beyond. So thank you for your service.
No problem.
And we'll get with Jan or with Jeanette to work out, get you guys dinner.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
It's always nice to actually have some positive instead of being thrown under the pile of garbage like we usually are. So that's great. Thank you, Lee. That's awesome. Heather, I think you're up.
Okay, so I'm Heather Nelson from the Bookmobile Department.
Pull that right
Hear
up.
that right there? Okay.
There you go.
Heather Nelson from the Bookmobile Department. So we have a board member spot that is open. Katrina Nelson served her 4-year term, and so that spot was left vacant. So we would like to recommend Melissa Heil from Willard to fill that 4-year spot.
Any questions?
Yeah, what does a board member do?
So they come to our library board meetings, and they give us recommendations on how our service could be better improved throughout the county. And they come and they They help us look at our budget. They give us just any ideas of how to make our service better.
Just like a board.
Except for this board has to walk parades and,
Yep, we do parades. They help with the book sale at the fair. They're amazing. Yep.
you got any, okay. I'd entertain a motion to put her on the board then.
Make a motion to appoint Melissa Heil to the library board.
Second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
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 Tim,
Thank you.
thank you. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce your last name, Megan. If you want to come up, do you guys want the rest of your people to come up with you, or do you just want to do it? You guys want to come up? And they're shaking their heads like, no.
Well, I think we ought to have Ms. Vincent come up and tell me about her pictures from Manaway. I mean, she's promoting Jeeps in Manaway big time, but anyway.
Okay.
Talamontes.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have ever even come close. So thank you.
It's okay. Megan Talamontes from the New Hope Crisis Center. I wanted to share some facts with you about what our last fiscal year looked like. We responded to 5,432 crisis calls within the county. We served 555 women, 96 children, and 184 males who were impacted in some way by domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, dating violence. We provided 58 victims of services to 58 victims of sexual assault, 8 children of child sex abuse, and 49 children of physical abuse. Our justice court worked with 219 clients this past year, and we sheltered 81 women, 3 men, and 24 children. So the reason why I'm here today is because I am hoping that you will declare October officially Domestic Violence Awareness Month for 2023. And I brought a proclamation I'd like to read, if that's okay.
That'd be great.
Whereas 1 in every 4 women and 1 in 10 men in Utah will experience domestic violence during their lifetime. Whereas victims should have help to find the compassion, comfort, and healing they need, and domestic abusers should be punished to the full extent of the law. Whereas fleeing domestic violence has caused women and children to be the fastest growing homeless population. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an excellent opportunity for the community to recognize this issue and the many victims of this terrible crime, and to show support for the numerous organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy services and assistance to victims. So I ask you, commissioners, to proclaim, hopefully, October as officially Domestic Violence Awareness Month for 2023.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion, the Box Elder County Commission declare October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Box Elder County.
Second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor?
Aye.
You need to sign something?
Yes, please. And I brought 2 so
Thank
that you
you.
guys could have a copy as well.
How's the building process going?
It's going.
What did that compare to last year? It sounded almost the same, or
We still see a steady.
still steady increase?
Okay, there's one for you.
Thank you for all you do. Appreciate you guys coming. And if you want to get with our social media people, so they can actually put that on our, webpage and stuff like that,
Fantastic.
will you do that, please? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. 11:45, we've tabled till next time. Charlene? Hope everybody else heard that, and it just wasn't me.
It was just you.
There, you can just give me, oh. Yeah.
Charlene Larson, County Auditor, and I'm just bringing forward the CIP process recommendations and requests for the commission to evaluate and look over and give direction, but it will be part of our tentative budget presentation. But I did want to focus on this separately and just get some feedback and tell you kind of how we did the process. I had 3 of my staff, including me, Commissioner Perry, and then Chase that's our risk management person, act as the committee. We had the different departments come in and present their projects, and then we rated them. That's that final page you have that we used as criteria for rating the projects. Some people weren't able to make it, so they're not all inclusive on the top 10 capital projects. We ranked by that 100-point evaluation form that we used. And so I'm just showing you the top 10 projects. And also, if you look at the full project request, and then if you flip the page over, it shows you
I'll look at it if you
various
give me a
funding
magnifying
sources.
glass.
I tried to make it as big as I could for you, Stan,
I'm gonna have to
without
borrow-
multiple
I'm gonna have to borrow
pages.
Steve's glasses or
So
something.
I worked really hard because it was smaller.
It was smaller?
Yes. I tried to fit it all in one page, and then it was too small. So that's why you got to flip it for the totals on the back. Normally, we only fund about a couple million in projects. We do have quite a bit being asked from the landfill that ups us up quite a bit.
But since they have their own funding, that shouldn't
Right.
take,
My one question was included on there was a snow plow, which I think she was gonna plow the road. And I didn't know if that was proper use of landfill funds or if that really should be handled by the road department, so that was,
but where it's actually gonna be used at the landfill to keep it open, I think that would be appropriate.
okay.
The only other thing that I was looking at, was the storm drain project that was number 1. And that will probably be coming out of the new tax, the new transportation tax.
Right, which is why I put Class B/transportation tax.
All right.
So, I mean, it's almost functions one and the same. That's the direction we got with the new transportation tax, was to treat it like we would restricted Class B, and that it needs to be used by the road department in a
Because
proper way.
the one will only be a one-time fund and then the rest will be ongoing, so.
Right,
So if we're able to fund most of the stuff that he needs on the transportation side with that one time, then the ongoing will come afterwards.
yeah.
And and all they're doing is trying to get close, but I mean, I think it's 1.7 up front and then 700 and something thousand ongoing, so.
Yeah, I shot you over those numbers. They
Yeah.
didn't stay in my brain to tell you, I'm sorry, but,
I write them down, I can't
Yeah.
remember them, so.
so
Okay.
I tried to give you that. Yeah, my biggest concern, I guess, would be if you want to, when we talk capital project fund, and that's doing a lot of the sheriff projects and things that need to be done, that comes really out of the general fund. It's not like we have a capital project source, other than as we sell assets, that money does go in there to help with that funding source as well, but,
And you're transferring how much from PILT to the general fund?
well, I moved it to the general
Oh,
fund
you moved it all
now.
to the general fund?
So I will be moving it out of the general fund
able to
into
do the
capital projects
projects.
based on where our fund balance is currently and how much we'll need if you approve all of the projects to move forward.
Okay.
So how much is PILT annually?
It's around $3.5 million. And typically, we kind of reserved that for capital projects in the past, but over the last few years, we've needed it for
Actual operations.
salaries, benefits,
And when I started, it was 2.8,
yeah.
so it's actually come up quite a bit.
So Darren, how much does it cost the road department to maintain your offices out in Park Valley, Yost, Grouse Creek?
That's the building.
We don't, yeah.
So I mean, you have an employee out there, you have equipment out there. How much does it cost? I mean, so these PILT funds, we're talking about payment in lieu of taxes, and when you get out that far, you're actually, that's where we're talking about, maintaining those roads and things of that nature. I'm just curious what the other side of it is. What we're getting 3.5 in, what's the cost, you know? Have any idea?
Some of it, we maintain Idaho roads and Tooele County roads too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we're contracted on both sides.
So it'd be kind of interesting to know where we balance, or if we balance.
Well, and like I said, we've done quite a bit of stuff out through Grass Creek in the last few years too. We spent quite a bit of money on a bunch of roads and drainage and new roads and things like that just in the past couple of years. So, but
Right,
we
I
really
know.
don't have an office out there. It's just the equipment.
I would argue that it maybe doesn't just belong to the road department in that if these were developed properties or whatever, we would be collecting tax on it that we would use countywide.
And that's
So
what we-
that's why I put it into the general fund.
And that's why every
Okay.
time we go back to Pilt Fly-In or anytime we talk about these funds, we actually bring that up, that if we were able to use it as anything besides just, we call it pennies in lieu of taxes,
Right.
because it's the lowest tax rate available for that, so,
And we have a whole lot of federal land in
Yeah.
Box Elder County.
yeah,
so.
so. And usually we do a pretty good job of dispersing it with everything that has to happen out through everything, so.
This year's a very high maintenance cost between the snow removal and the damage from runoff, damage from flooding.
We've probably spent more than what we've,
I know,
Probably 4 times our normal budgeted year.
yeah, I know you've been out there lots of times.
They're still out there
yeah, we had flash floods last week,
before and
then the week before and the week before, so.
So if I get this correct, Charlene, you're talking the top 10 is what you're going to recommend here on that page. You're going to recommend those during the budget, but we're also going to allow the landfill to make the purchases because of the money they have.
Right.
Separate from this, correct?
Well, and she brought in a lot of projects to the meeting that we weren't prepped on, so we didn't get, everybody didn't evaluate those projects. We'll get better as each year goes by, making sure we get everyone evaluated and in scheduled. This was kind of a first try at doing it a little differently and getting a little more input from other folks that
Right.
don't have a stake in it as much as the people asking, but are still county employees. So I'm up to suggestions on how to operate that if you choose it differently. And I'm happy to put all the projects in. If you have no concerns, I can put them in the budget and we can go from there, or really, at this point, it's the commission's decision what they want to go into the budget and approve, so. And it will be part of public hearings and such when we actually do the tentative budget presentation for citizens to also comment, so.
Correct.
I wouldn't mind going and taking a look at it a little bit more and just seeing.
So I mean, your Class B road funds, they have requirements of how they can be used anyway, right?
Correct.
Right.
So currently, we do put a lot of their capital projects towards that capital B funding source, but we also track projects that qualify, and so all labor, materials, equipment hours go towards that as well, is how it's been done historically. But they do have a fund, running
Dedicated fund,
dedicated fund still.
which we've increased, I think,
It's been growing, so,
for the last couple of years. We've done some legislative stuff that we've been able to help the fund too, so.
While we've got, I mean, there's one item on here that I think is pretty important under ITS. And while we have Keith still in the room, the security camera and access controls, it's a $960,000 one-time or a $218,165 for the 5-year project across there.
Correct.
So it costs us more
and
along.
I think you can buy it for $1 at the end or something.
Yeah, so I guess that's the question, whether it's from you or whether it's from Keith. Do you have a recommendation, what direction, whether we should do it on the 5-year lease program to kind of help us offset some of these costs this year? Or do we, and I guess the other question maybe Keith can answer is, if we did started down the lease, are they gonna let us, maybe if we had more money at some point, we could put it toward the whole purchase 3 years in, kind of like, rather than wait till the end of 5 years?
Yeah,
And do
I-
some of our costs, I don't know.
He would know that answer more than me, but I would advise just spreading it out because of the number of projects that we have and limited funding, so.
Okay. Keith, it won't go up. That, we can lock in at that 218, is that your understanding?
It would be locked in.
Okay,
I
so
don't
if we-
know if there's an early, I don't think there's an early pay.
There's no early out, so once we locked in, we'd be at that level, right?
Right, and
with
I don't think there's a penalty for early payout.
And we can pay $1 at the end and own it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, and looking at, 5% on our investments now, if we keep 750,000,
We might could make more off of it by
Right.
holding it over that period of
that
time.
would be my
I agree.
suggestion. To be able to make more
Where
holding it
interest
on.
rates are good right now, so.
Okay. This is good
So-
information to have.
I guess Sean can tell you what that's doing right now, but it looks like we're about
I
5.
know that you'll notice as we look at financial statements this year, the interest income is up for us. so.
Quite a bit. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You guys got any other questions?
Nope. This is what we're bringing to the budget, right?
Yeah, the full page, I'll implement it into the budget unless you had any other concerns
In
about
the
any
budget,
items.
you'll also have some of the things that you've gotten from the landfill added to this, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
But they'll be able to fund all theirs, so it won't be coming out of anything else, so. Okay, thanks, Shirley. Reschedule commission meeting, that's us.
Yep.
So it looks like in October, we're going to just forego the first one and then go to the 18th, correct?
That would be my recommendation at this point. We can't seem to figure out when to have a second one in October because of different scheduling. So I would suggest we'd have an October 18th, one commission meeting in October. And then for November, we would do a November 1st, which is already scheduled. And rather than having the November 15th, we'd have a November 22nd commission meeting. So that would give us the two in.
Do we have to have a meeting right after your election to ratify that one for that, or is that?
No, it's cities.
Oh, it's cities, okay. Okay, so unless somebody's got a problem with meeting one day before Thanksgiving, it's a morning one, right?
That would be the morning, yes, that would be the daytime one.
Who said I'm not gonna be here?
Yeah, I'm not making pies, I'm fine.
We will, I mean, that'll definitely be one where we'll do the employee of the month as well, so.
Okay. Okay, do we need a motion for that? Or just,
I'd make a
Publicly.
motion that we not have, that we only have one meeting in October, it'll be October 18th, and that we change the November 15th to November 22nd.
Second?
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Sean Milne, Rural County Grant Program.
Yes,
I know you gave us some information last week, and hopefully you guys got a chance to look at the slideshow that didn't quite come up.
Right.
So we do need to make a motion today to be able, so we can get that in by end of this week.
October 1st is when it's due,
Okay, for the
so I would like
200,000.
not to wait to the last minute, just
Right.
because I can submit it for review, an unofficial review, but just to make sure that the GoEO folks feel like if
And
they've
that's
got
for
any
the
questions for me, they
200,000,
can
and then we'll work on the Part B, correct?
Yes, so I'd had the opportunity to at least really quickly breeze by an idea for Part B. Part B is now called the Rural Communities Opportunity Grant. This first one that you have the slide deck from last week, hopefully in front of you.
Oh,
Hang on. It's on here?
This is what used to be called Part A. Yeah, thank
Oh,
you,
hey,
Commissioner
there you
Perry. I appreciate you being my Vanna White. You're a very good one, too. Yeah, you can thumb through this at your own pace if you haven't already seen it. I really don't mean to
I'd say
draw out your meeting longer by repeating what I told you essentially last week. So I'm happy to address any questions you have. This is what used to be called Part A, the Rural County Grant. They've renamed it. This comes before you for a vote today with recommendations from your Economic Development Advisory Board or CEO Advisory Board, Community Economic Opportunity Advisory Board. And so I'm seeking a vote from you today for this, but tandem to it is the concept of promoting agriculture in this northern Utah area.
let's take this one as a vote first, and then you can talk about the Part B, so.
Commissioners, any questions for me? Again, rather than just reread what I told you last week.
I
hopefully
thought
I've had
last
enough
year's
of
allocation was 60,000, not 70,000. That was the only question
it. It was 69 and some change, so I just rounded it up. I just made it a round number of 70. It was like, if I remember correctly, it was
Where's the
69,000.
Bridgerland the Entrepreneurship Innovation Campus? Where are we talking about that at?
Commissioner Summers, do you
Yeah,
want?
that's where we're talking about, the one at Lazy Boy.
Okay,
It'd be repurposing their admin offices specifically. There's already a major tenant for the county in the further back portion. So I know
Yeah,
that
the other
Commissioner
700
Summers is working with,
The other 795,000 square feet has already been leased out, one by the Beanbag Company. No,
Lovesack.
can't remember.
Lovesack, isn't it?
No, it's not Lovesack, but anyway, and then the rest is north of Drummond, so.
And who runs the workforce skills scholarships?
It doesn't exist yet. This is
Yeah,
the
this is just
concept
something
of
we're in the process of.
helping to retain your current major employers so they're not attracted somewhere else. Other states are actively trying to woo Utah companies, not just Box Elder, but
This is something that we were gonna put up with Boys and Girls Club. And kind of, they decided that they didn't want this portion or couldn't fit this portion with them. So there's actually one tenant right now looking to move to Box Elder County that's very interested in being a paying company that wants to go into part of this. So that would help.
you
them
said paying as in
Paying.
paying money, right? Not that they'll
paying
be
money,
paying
yeah.
to do
So
it.
the rest of the facility is gonna be given to us basically for free, for rent, if we continue to help with these things that we're talking about, so. And that's the 200,000, so.
I thought but wasn't it last month we had $20,000 somewhere else? Is that something you've changed since last?
Yeah,
presentation?
you had a aerospace and defense industry campaign.
Okay. And remind me again on that one. What's that, what are we gonna do with that one?
Commissioner
That's,
Summers.
that's just, we're a part of Northwest Grumman and everybody in northern Utah. It's kind of like dues being paid.
Well, and actively, so part of that would be dues. Part of it would be an active recruitment tool to facilitate bringing suppliers to Northrop Grumman to the county,
To the county.
or at least promoting what our assets are. Maybe it's not, a site visit to them in another state asking them to come here, but moreover, some other direct marketing campaign that lets them know why Northrop has chosen Box Elder County and why they should too. Anything to help decrease the logistics costs that Northrop has from its supply chain, building more of a cluster here.
Okay.
You got any questions, boy? Okay. I'd entertain a motion if you, for
And
the,
this is the money that we get from
A.
the state under the rural county
Right.
grant, correct?
the
Yes,
first
sir.
part. Yep.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we adopt this as the budget for that rural county grant.
Second?
I got a motion by Commissioner Perry, a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
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 So then on to Part B, which is the next portion.
Yeah, I don't have a slide deck for that.
Okay.
It was either something I can kind of review just as a highlight here and come back to a future meeting asking for it, or it's working in conjunction with both Rich and Cache County. They would like to, and being that all three of you are also on the Bragg Governing Board, it would be an application through Bragg, not through Box Elder, not through Rich or Cache, but through the AOG. AOGs can be an applicant for that Rural Communities Opportunity Grant, or what used to be called Part B. And it would be a regional play where we tried to duplicate the Ag Park, if you're familiar with that project that Six County has been noting in southern Utah, with the idea that we're not stealing anything from them. We just want to become relevant as they are for ag production in the southern part of the state, for the northern part of this state, and to attract that kind of influx from southern Idaho into our port structure as well as processing facilities. Not just port for logistics, but processing like post, P&G, anybody else that utilizes that. It works for cash as well because, as you likely know, from JBS beef that comes in as far away as Montana to milk production that comes in from a lot of Idaho as well.
Far as away as Canada.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, case in point, we want to duplicate the success and the to mirror, basically reverse engineer what they've done for southern Utah, since it seems to be supported by the state legislature and other relevant stakeholders.
And then I think the biggest thing is between this, we go through Part B, that we've got, some of the class holders that are helping us match this with some EDA funds that will really help try to get this thing done, right off of I-15 in a place where you can't grow anything. And I think make a good tax base for that area. So we met with some people last night when Lee called in, that they're very interested in trying to do a a place where they can bring in not only tomatoes, cucumbers, and things like that through a water system and then rejuvenate the water and go back, that it would be very advantageous to be able to have something right there. And to be an ag, like you said, I don't think we'll ever get as big as the southern Utah, because they've got like 38,000 acres for that park, yeah.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree. I think we could. It just would not be all co-located like they are, and kind of the same approach that we've done with the Golden Spike project area for Inland Port up here.
It's true.
Which I don't think is terrible. It's a nice way to help split the load of heavy truck traffic and not all just on one concentrated exit on-ramp, from I-15 or a rail port. So I think we can. I think we
probably
can
true.
take what they've had some limited success in their planning efforts, because it's not actually deployed yet on the ground.
So can
we
you
can
just send
also-
out a little more information about that to these
Yeah,
guys?
I'm prepared to actually present that at the AOG meeting, actually, that all three of you will be at for Bragg's governing board meeting. So that's where I will be asking you, as well as Rich and Cache County leaders, to support that application.
That'd be
That
great.
will be
Okay.
a window between mid-October and mid-November.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you coming.
I have just one question. So you made the motion to approve the budget. Did you want to include that as to approve the application for the grant?
I couldn't hear what she said.
Oh, yeah, okay, so probably what we need to do is, so the motion, we need to go back to the motion. So we are making a motion to approve the budget and the rural county grant program to go forward. So that, actually, we need to reverse that motion. So the motion would be to approve the budget for the rural county grant program and the contract, or the, what do they call it?
Yeah, just the application that I
The
submitted
application.
entirely.
Oh, okay.
And to approve, to have the application go forward.
Okay,
So that would be, we need to make that the motion.
okay.
So I
Second.
would make that motion instead.
And he'll still second it. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Clarify
Thanks for
that.
catching that, Marlo.
Okay.
Okay, Scott Lyons.
All right. Our first item is ordinance 586. This ordinance would remove the old county road standards from the land use code. So at your August 16th meeting, I believe it was, Darren brought the new public works standards before you, and those were adopted. And so at this point, these road standards are replaced by those, and these would need to be removed from the county land use code so that we don't have conflicting standards, essentially. So this proposal was taken to the Planning Commission at their July meeting. Public hearing was held. No comment was made, and the Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval. So at this point, it's just a matter of removing these now that the new ones have been adopted.
Okay, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to adopt ordinance 586.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, second, oh, I grabbed the wrong subdivision plat. So
You bought the wrong one?
brought the wrong one down. It's upstairs. The next one is a D&M subdivision. I've got the plat for it upstairs, all ready to be signed.
Do you want to run and grab it? Oh, D's going.
Okay,
He's got longer legs than you anyway.
anyway, yeah, there you go. Got an electronic copy here so I can run through it.
Okay.
And it should also be attached to your packet. But it's just a two-lot subdivision. It's located here west of Brigham City. So it is 1181 north, 6,000 west. And each lot is 0.67 acres in size. So this one has been reviewed by all applicable county departments and comes with recommendation of approval.
Okay, you good?
So they would be getting their water from West Korean water, I'm assuming?
This one, I am not 100% sure if it came through West Corinne or if it came by well.
It's not well, it's West Corinne.
Okay.
What was that?
It's West Corinne.
Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions? Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 586, no,
Oh, D and M.
D and M subdivision.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. When he brings it back, we'll sign it. Okay, Jenica?
Okay, so I am here to request a retirement incentive for 2024. Little background on this, we have done a retirement incentive for the last 10 to 12 years. The premise of it is employees who have been long-term employees are able to retire and receive a benefit that would be paid out that is equivalent to 2/3 of the savings that we accrue from hiring an entry-level employee for them. There's an agreement they have to sign. In that, there are stipulations like you can't come back for 3 years, things like that. I attached that, I believe. If not, I've got a copy of it. So it would have impact 13 employees this year. They either need to be of age to retire or years in URS to retire. Potential savings if all 13 employees left is $221,000. So we have to come this early because we have to give them 45 days to consider it. Retirement dates would be January 1st or 16th or February 1st or 16th of 2024.
So if approved, does this retirement incentive continue on for next year and the year after that? or-
Just for 2024. We do it each year.
And so far, when we first started thinking about this, I think the first year we were like $700,000 in savings. We're running out of good employees. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
people are
And
leaving.
and I hate to incentivize people to retire, but since they've worked here for so long, that's my only other problem with this is that we're incentivizing good people to retire. Quit laughing.
Except for him, I won't.
Except for
sign
him,
off
we
on
won't. Can we make the motion without him? So, but $200,000 is still a big thing when it comes to budget, huh, Charlene?
Yeah.
So even if we do half that, it's still 100,000, so I don't think you'll get all 13,
No, but it does allow me to then offer it to them, so.
so.
I'll make a motion to approve retirement incentive 2024.
Second.
Except for Jim, is that, I'm just kidding.
Except for, no.
Got a motion by Commissioner Bingham, second by Commissioner Perry, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I'll hand you the PAs while I'm up here.
All right.
Since you've got a minute.
And then Scott's got his, yeah, we'll sign that. If I can walk down there. Might have been a good thing, actually getting up and walking. It's not a bad thing.
Neither one of us have a sticky today.
Do I get a sticky back there?
I don't see a sticky back here. Oh, here. I did find one.
Usually have a bunch of them in my house.
What do you need? Oh, Jenica? I thought I was gonna grab her while she was here, but she never gave me the high sign. When? I probably won't be here. I signed it, right? Okay, I signed it. She just kept thinking. Thank you. She's aware of it, so. Thanks, Scott. Do you want to read the thing or do you want me to?
I can do it. So we're to the point of public comment. Obviously, no action will be taken on any public comment given today. Those wishing to make public comment have to sign the comment roll, which we've now got a form that we have people sign, fill out, and present here to our clerk. And they'll be responsible for following the rules outlined in the county commission rules and procedures. Our speaker will have 3 minutes opportunity to speak regardless of the number of items they wish to address. So it's just one time, speaking 3 minutes. Speakers shall address their comments to the county commission only, and this is a time to be heard. There will not be a back and forth dialogue with the commissioners, and the speakers may file copies of their remarks or supporting information with the county clerk. The county clerk will make the information available to the county commission. So with that, we have two public comment forms that have been presented here. Deanna Hardy will be the first one here.
Okay. Deanna Hardy Brigham. The Utah Legislature in 2013 approved a joint resolution on environmental and development policies, rejecting United Nations Agenda 21, and urges state and local governments across the United States to reject it. I don't have time to read it, but I have a copy for you. It says JR 11. The Box Elder Committee of Liberty asked this county commission to withdraw their letter of support for the land acquisition adjacent to Salt Creek Wildlife Management to purchase 700 acres by the Division of Natural Resources. The United Nations goal is to lock up another 30% of the lands by 2050, and they want to do half of this by 2030. They also want to eliminate meat and dairy products from our diet. Shutting off grazing land is a method being used to accomplish this goal. We believe it is wrong for the government to purchase land with our tax dollars for a public hunting preserve. This is the excuse being used to lock up grazing land. We urge our county commissioners to become well-informed of the harmful implications of implementing United Nations Agenda 21, now known as Agenda 2030-2050, Smart Growth, Envision Utah, or other name changes they resort to hide their agenda strategies for sustainable development, which is not sustainable at all. The prophets warned us a long time ago of these secret combinations in Book of Mormon Ether 8. Wherefore, O ye Gentiles, it is wisdom in God that these things should be shown unto you, that thereby ye may repent of your sins and suffer not these murderous combinations shall get above you, which are built up to get power and gain. And the work, yea, even the work of destruction come upon you, yea, even the sword of justice of the eternal God shall fall upon you, to your overthrow and destruction, if ye shall suffer these things to be. Wherefore the Lord commandeth you, when ye shall see these things come among you, that ye shall awake to your sense of your awful situation, because of the secret combination which shall be among you, or woe be unto it, because of the blood of them who have been slain for they cry from the dust for vengeance upon it, and also upon those who build it up. For it cometh to pass that those who build it up seeketh to overthrow the freedom of all lands, nations, and countries, and it bringeth to pass the destruction of all people. For it is built up by the devil, who is the father of all lies. Please awake to all the deaths caused by the COVID pandemic, which was orchestrated by government. The World Economic Forum's plan to have us all own nothing and be happy about it. The lies surrounding all of us is immense. Please awake to our awful situation and stand for our liberty. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next public comment will be Fred Hayes.
Fred Hayes, Bear River Precinct. I'd like to speak for a moment about elections, and it seems to be becoming very apparent that looseness in elections, and when we use computerized voting, allows the movement of lots of votes, lots of registrations instantaneously. And the simple truth is that when we count votes in our own precincts, we can be assured of, we can have then the counties and the state can use spreadsheets and add things up, and we have no issue with that. And I would like this county to stand and be an example to the nation where we offer to our precincts the first right of refusal to count our own votes. And that would just solidify our election system. Now, and I'll speak for a moment about the looseness in elections. There's unknowns in voter registration, especially in Utah. It's worst in the nation. 30 to 40% of our voting registrations are unknown. Trafficking of mail ballots resulting from imposition of 100% mail ballot system. Possibilities of peeking at early voting results. Ease of faking votes at a central voting station instead of the security of being able to know who people are in our own precincts when we vote in our local precinct, you know. And so there's a lot of looseness in our systems, especially when you throw in the an electronic system. ES&S had a meeting with South Dakota Secretary of State a couple of months ago, and pretty much contradicted everything that they stated that was presented from our Lieutenant Governor in her letter to us about election information, and pointing out that ES&S has a history of lying to the people, and they're our election system provider in this county. And I think that we should have a standing election committee here for you to consult with and to study what's going on in this county constantly. And I thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that concludes all the public comment we have registered.
Okay. I don't think we have a closed session, so
Took care of the warrant,
I think we've already signed everything, so.
signed that, we took
Yep.
care of personal action. No closed session. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Perry, a second by Commissioner Bingham. All in favor? Aye.
Do you want to go print that off, and that way these guys will sign it before they leave?